up, you guys? It's your girl Taina, and welcome to Taina Tries, where I try stuff. Today, I'm gonna be making a red velvet cheesecake from scratch for the first time for a friend for her birthday as a surprise. Yay! Let's get started. Okay, so my friend Joskeva is turning 14 on Sunday. It's currently Friday, and why do I have a 14-year-old friend? Why are you asking questions? Okay. So I decided about a month ago that I was gonna surprise her for her birthday and make her a red velvet cheesecake. Now I didn't tell her about this, hence the surprise part, but also because just in case this cake turns out trash, I didn't want to break any promises by being like, yo, I'm gonna make you a cake and then turn up with no cake. You feel me? So Jos, if you're watching this and you didn't get a red velvet cheesecake from me for your birthday, my bad. I also texted a couple friends about a month ago to see who liked red velvet cheesecake because I wanted to surprise them with a slice as well. And a few of them got too excited. They really thought I was about to bring them cake like at that very moment. I shut that down, so I don't think they're suspecting it, so I'm hoping I can surprise them still. But again, DDS, if y'all don't get a cake from me and y'all watching this, my bad, okay? Okay. So in preparation for making this cake for the last month, I have been scouring the interwebs for recipes. I have been watching way too many YouTube videos about baking to the point where my whole feed currently is just food. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of that. But that's future Taina's problem. Either way, I've just been doing a lot of research in terms of kind of finding the right ingredients for red velvet cheesecake. And I think I've created the ultimate recipe. I've kind of like put things in that other recipes left out, that other recipes mentioned. Like I've just brought it all together, and I'll put that in the description box below so you guys can use it as well if you'd like. Now, I do think this is the ultimate recipe. Whether or not me as Taina can pull it off is a whole different situation. So that's what we're gonna see if we can do today. And let's get into it. First things first, gotta wash them hands.
You nasty.
So first we're gonna start off by making the cheesecake, and for that you're gonna need eggs, sugar, cream cheese, vanilla extract, sour cream, salt, and heavy whipping cream. All right, here we go. Attempt number 2. What was that? What happened in attempt number 1? Don't even worry about it. We'll talk about that later. Focus, people, focus. So first is the cream cheese. You have to make sure that it is room temperature so that it's easier to incorporate. Now, because of incident number 1, these had only been out of the fridge for about an hour. And as I'm mixing it, I'm realizing that it's a little too hard. So I'm gonna leave it in the bowl for about an hour and then come back and continue.
1 hour later.
After the hour was up, it was about 1,000 times easier to mix the cream cheese, so I'm really glad I did that. Then I add the sugar and mix that really well. Then a pinch of salt for whatever reason. Mix again, making sure that I'm getting the sides as well. Then I add the heavy whipping cream, the sour cream, and the vanilla and continue to mix. Then the eggs, which got a warm bath beforehand just to get them to room temperature. According to numerous recipes, you don't want to mix the eggs in too much, so I'm adding them in last, one at a time, and mixing them just until I can't see the yellow anymore. Next, I pour the batter into my, okay fine, it's not mine, I borrowed it, but whatever, into a spring-form pan that is lined with aluminum foil and sprayed with cooking oil. It also has like about 103 pounds of aluminum foil around it because ain't nobody out here trying to go for attempt number 3, okay? Giving it a few taps so it can evenly spread out. So I'm gonna bake this cake using the water bath method. So I got a pan and then I placed my springform pan into that pan. That's a lot of pans. And then I poured boiling water into that pan so that I can give it the water bath while it's baking. With the oven set to 325 degrees, I placed the cake in it and I'm planning on letting it bake for about 1 hour and 20 minutes.
1 eternity later.
After that hour and 20 minutes, I turn off the oven and crack it open slightly just so that the cake can gradually cool, and I leave it there for an hour. After that hour, I take it out of the oven and place it on the countertop and let it cool completely for about another hour. Then I placed it in the fridge for some overnight magic. So it's red velvet cake time, and for that I'll be using all-purpose flour, salt, cinnamon, eggs, vanilla extract, sugar, vegetable oil, distilled white vinegar, buttermilk, baking soda, cocoa powder, and red food coloring. So I've placed all of my dry ingredients into this one bowl, and now I'm gonna sift them all together so that I can have minimal lumps in my batter. I also mixed together all of my wet ingredients, including the eggs, and now I'm just gonna add that to the dry ingredients. And mix until my batter is smooth. Now I'm gonna pour the batter into another borrowed springform pan. Now I know the directions in the description box are gonna say to, separate the batter into 2 equal halves and put it into 2 different cake pans, but I don't have that many friends, okay? So we're just gonna use one pan and just cut it later. While that's in the oven at 350 degrees, I'm gonna make the icing, and for that I'm gonna need powdered sugar, salt, cream cheese, butter, heavy whipping cream, and vanilla extract. So I mix the cream cheese and the softened butter together until it's smooth, and then I sift the powdered sugar and add it to the mix, and just stirring it as I add little by little. Then I add the heavy whipping cream, the vanilla, and then some salt. After poking the center of the cake approximately 1,000,002 times, the red velvet cake was finally ready, and boy does it look good. Look at that. Ooh. After letting the cake cool completely, I used a knife to make sure that the sides were not sticking to the pan, then I released it. Why these kinds of pans aren't used to make every cake out there is beyond me. Then I did my darndest to split the cake in half, which honestly turned out better than I expected. Once that was done, I removed the cheesecake from its pan and attempted to layer them, and eventually, I finally put my college degree to work and figured it out. Since the pan I used for the red velvet cake was larger than the cheesecake, the edges didn't quite match up, so I just went and cut those edges off and saved them for later. After placing the final layer on top and doing the exact same thing, it was finally time for icing. That first layer of icing ain't cute. It's not supposed to be cute. It's the crumb layer, because there's going to be crumbs all over it. But once that's done, I placed it in the fridge for about an hour for it to harden so I can do a second layer of icing. The second layer went on 1,000 times easier. And once that was done, I used the leftover pieces of the red velvet cake as decorations for the sides after I crunched them up. After a Ziploc bag and some food coloring magic, I was able to write happy birthday on the cake, and we ended up with this masterpiece. And I'm not gonna fade y'all. I'm hella proud of myself. I have no idea what it tastes like, but dang. Now with the cake finally done, I placed it in the fridge, and the next day I drove to her house, dropped it off at their porch, and called somebody to come get it. The cake actually turned out really, really good. How do I know this? I mean, if that's not the face of a satisfied customer, I don't know what is. And I also got my piece and it was bomb. Okay, so it's 2:24 on Saturday morning. I am exhausted. I literally just put the cake in the fridge like 2 seconds ago. Jos goodbye. If I am literally not your favorite person after this whole situation, you catching these hands, because oh my goodness, making a cheesecake is rough. And the fact that I messed up the first take didn't help my timeline at all. So many things went wrong, and I'm actually happy they did, because it made it so that I could learn for the second go around. So well, the first thing that happened with the first cake was that I put too much sugar in it. I thought that I accidentally mixed up the sugar for the red velvet cake with the sugar for the cheesecake, so I ended up putting twice as much sugar in it as there needed to be. By the time I realized that, I already mixed in the eggs. So instead of throwing that whole thing away, I figured why not just try and why not just try and just keep going and like make it into like a really colorful, fun cheesecake, see what it tastes like. So that's what I try to do. And then put it in the oven. Now, the second thing that went wrong is that I only left it in there for like 55 minutes. That wasn't enough time, especially at 325 degrees. That was not enough time. So when I took it out, it was jiggly, which it's supposed to be in the middle a bit, but I was like, okay, so I guess we're ready. We weren't. Mistake number 3 was the moment I took it out, I first of all, there's water in there. So my foil wrapping thing did not pan out. My God, my foil wrapping thing did not pan out at all. And then the moment I took it out, I immediately released the latch on the cheesecake pan, which then just proceeded to just like spill over as goo. Like it wasn't even cooked at all. Oh my God. I don't know why I forgot about the waiting time. I don't know. But this one is good. What I made is what I think is gonna work. I hope no water got in. It doesn't look like any water got in, but you know, I'm going to sleep. Oh my goodness. Okay.